The release of Shattered Veil is just a few days away, and there's so much to be excited about. Double Tap is returning for the first time in 10 years. The Raygun Mark II is back with 3 new variants. A Wonderwaff is returning right alongside it, and we're finally getting some Richtofen in the story. The community is absolutely right to be stoked for this map, and it seems like Treyarch is taking a bunch of steps in the right direction. But as excited as I am, I'm also terrified that in a few weeks, nobody's gonna care. Now, before I start absolutely dogging on this game, I want to make it very clear that I like Black Ops 6 Zombies. I was playing this game non-stop when it came out, and I can sincerely say that we've seen some incredible locations, amazing side Easter eggs, and arguably some of the best boss fights in all of Zombies history. The game mode as a whole is far and away the best iteration of modern Zombies. So, why does it feel this way? If you clicked on this video, you know exactly the feeling I'm talking about, and when you look deep inside yourself, you know something just isn't quite right about Black Ops 6. And that's because nothing you do in this game matters. Alright, I'm gonna talk about how easy this game is for a minute, which I know, hot take, but bear with me, I promise you there's more. If you're not going for an Easter egg or high round, you probably know exactly what's going to happen every single game. You're going to spawn in with your loadout weapon, maybe build the wonder weapon, play about 30 rounds, and then you're going to exfil. There's no element of uncertainty. You're probably not going to hit the box, you're definitely not going to get into a bad situation and die. Think about it, when was the last time you died in Black Ops 6 Zombies? I'm not talking about in a boss fight or a high round or something, just a regular old game. When was the last time you fully died out? There are so many ways to escape that it just isn't going to happen. And there's one specific perk that truly lets the brain rot, mindless, easy baby mode of this game shine through. And you're probably thinking, oh, it's Jug or Quick Revive or something, right? No. It's Deadshot. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Deadshot Daiquiri is ruining Black Ops 6 Zombies. Back in the day, nobody was going to waste a perk slot on this miserable excuse for a Perk-a-Cola, but nowadays, that's just not a concern. If you're playing on console, you're barely even playing the game once you get this perk. You don't have to aim at all, you just run around Deadshot spamming, and you're an unstoppable force. So, let's recap here. Your aim doesn't matter, because the game is doing it for you. Your movement doesn't matter, because you have a million things to bail you out if you get stuck. What game are you even playing? Are you appreciating the beauty and the atmosphere of the map through all the ADS spam and clutter on the screen? How many times are you going to repeat this cycle before it starts to get old? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that running in circles for hours on end is a great time, and I really like the run and gun playstyle. But Zombies is clearly missing something when you don't have to manage your space, and any shooter game is going to feel like it's missing something when half the work of shooting is being done for you. Obviously, this only applies to console, but that's still a huge chunk of the community, and something has to change with Deadshot going forward. Earlier in the video, I was asking about the last time you died, and I made the game sound super easy. And I'd just like to apologize to any newer players, because as easy as this game is for the veteran Zombies fan, it's somehow not friendly to new players at all. If you're loading up your very first game of Zombies on Liberty Falls, you'll probably make it to Pack-a-Punch and find some perks and stuff, which is great. I'm really glad Treyarch has made the Pack-a-Punch quests easy in this game for first-time players. But what that little star on the screen doesn't tell you is that you better optimize your run so you have a double-papped purple rarity gun by round 16, or there's no chance you're beating that abomination. I wouldn't be surprised if most new players didn't even know about the rarity system because it's in this weird little arsenal menu, and the training course mode that was added months after launch definitely isn't going to change that. Pack-a-punching multiple times can also be a problem for a new player for a couple different reasons. If a player picks up a second weapon, it's natural that they would want to pack-a-punch that one as well, right? That would be fine in a lot of Zombies games, but it's actually a huge mistake in Black Ops 6. The game's progression almost forces you to invest all of your resources into a single gun just to keep up, and by upgrading a second weapon, you've just set yourself back by thousands of points. You're going to have a much harder time earning those points back because you're stuck with weak guns, and if you happen to go down, your situation gets even worse as you're forced to rebuy perks. If you were to bleed out in a later round, you have virtually no chance of getting back in the fight because of how expensive it is to have even a single viable weapon. The classic upgrade system was much more forgiving for new players, as even if you bled out, you'd still have a fighting chance. The rarity and pack-a-punch systems also have a very adverse effect on the mystery box, because it is never ever worth it to hit this thing. In the early rounds, you're probably not going to get anything better than your loadout weapon, and in the later rounds, that shiny gold gun you get is going to be useless unless you have 50,000 points stashed away to pack-a-punch it. You probably don't, by the way, because you spend them all upgrading your other gun just to survive. This type of system works really well for reinforcing the artificial replayability of the camo grind, but it strips away any sense of variety or unpredictability from the game. This is a big part of the reason why I don't think people will be coming back to these modern zombies games once their life cycles are over. The maps in Black Ops 6 are absolutely beautiful, and I honestly think they're underrated because of how much visual clutter there is in this game. How can you appreciate the maps when your gameplay looks like this? Between the ADS spam, the score feed, the damage numbers, and all of the stuff on the ground, you're hardly looking at your surroundings. I definitely recommend turning some of this stuff off because the maps just look so much better, but you can't turn off this stupid salvage. Can you imagine how much worse Shadows of Evil would have looked if you were just looking at the ground the whole game? Picking through all this trash on the ground instead of looking at the map. Treyarch, please get rid of this. There's no reason for this. Just get rid of the whole salvage system and you solve so many problems in one go. In all fairness, this problem has gotten a lot worse with the addition of Vulture Aid, but still, I don't think there's any reason for this system. Just get rid of all of it. I love Call of Duty Zombies, and I'm sure every single person watching this video does as well. We all have different opinions on what's best for the mode. You might agree with some of the things I've been saying, you might disagree. It's totally fine. But I think most of the community does agree that these modern zombie games do kind of have this feeling of just being a bit hollow. They're absolutely super fun on launch, but they lack staying power. There are some great things about Black Ops 6 though. I think the side Easter eggs are great, I think the boss fights are great, I love how customizable the HUD is, I really hope they bring some of that forward into the next game. That being said, I also think it's time to make some changes to bring back that classic feel that keeps longtime fans coming back to the older games, because I just don't see that happening with these more recent titles. First of all, these games have got to start being a little bit harder, and I think we can definitely balance challenging for veteran players and friendly for new players. I think bringing back a perk limit is a great start for this. That would pretty much solve the deadshot problem from earlier, while also keeping the player from being too overpowered. If Treyarch wants to keep improving on the augment system, I think this is a great step because the player has to craft their build even more instead of just having everything in the game. I wouldn't mind a 5 or 6 perk limit though, and I think there should continue to be side Easter eggs to allow the player to get a few extra perks. Next up, I think player health needs to be decreased, and a few of these get out of jail free cards have got to go. I'm sorry, but being like a 20 hit down with at least 5 ways to get out of any situation is insane. Again, I think that Treyarch should play to their recent side Easter egg strength and reward players with this super overpowered stuff. They've kind of been doing this with things like Golden Armor in the Tomb and the Incantations in Citadel, but you're already so OP in this game that I'm not even sure it's worth it to go for these in most games. Keep giving us stuff like this, but make the base player a little bit weaker so that these rewards are a bit more rewarding. I also think that bringing back a buildable specialist unique to each map would be really nice, rather than just spawning in with a field upgrade. If they brought us back to even like a 7 hit down or something, there's still plenty of room to become more powerful with Easter eggs, but new players who might not go for these quests aren't going to struggle too much. If Treyarch does decide to go this route and make it a little easier for the player to die, it should also be easier for them to recover. And this is why the current weapon upgrade and rarity systems absolutely have to go. No more rarities, bring back a more classic pack-a-punch system, and everybody wins. Just look at the benefits. Downs become less punishing, weapon upgrades become more straightforward for new players, there's no more salvage all over the map that keeps the player in a perpetual state of looking down, you can have 2 viable weapons at any given time, and most importantly, the box becomes relevant again. Those last 2 things are absolutely crucial. Nobody likes using one weapon for the whole game, and the box is the ultimate tool for genuine replayability. This goes hand in hand with an overhaul of the loadout system. Bring back a BO4 style loadout system where you still have a few options, but you can't just take one gun through the whole game. I think this would also do wonders for the camo grind and make it a little less artificial. Just lower some of the requirements on those box exclusive weapons and force players to use a few guns in one game. Alright, well I've been yapping and yelling at the clouds for long enough now. I just want to thank every single person who made it this far. This was my first video, and it definitely won't be my last, so if you enjoyed at any point, it would be awesome if you would consider leaving a like and maybe subscribing. because I'd really love to grow this channel and keep making videos like this. I'd also love to know what everyone thinks about the state of the game right now. Do you agree with some of my complaints? Do you think I'm stupid? Absolutely tell me in the comments, because it's a community, right? We all have opinions about the way the game should be, and I'm super curious to hear all of your thoughts. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Here's hoping the Shattered Veil is good and this video ages like milk, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye.